I'm Billy Differ, and you're listening to the DMT Insider podcast. My guest today is respected actor of stage, TV, and film Richard Coyle, whose extensive career goes effortlessly between the disciplines. He's coming to Wyndham's Theatre in the award-winning Aaron Sorkin adaptation of Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, reprising his role as Atticus Finch. Welcome, Richard.
Hello, nice to be here.
Well, that's a good start. Now, for those that maybe don't know the play, which is set in the 1930s, could you give us your take on what it's about and what drew you to the role of Atticus Finch?
Well, firstly, I'll answer the first one. What it's about is it's about basically a small town in Alabama in the 1930s, and a trial of a black man who was accused of raping a white teenage girl, and the story follows the trial and Tom Robinson, the black man's lawyer, Atticus Finch, is my character, through the events of the summer of the trial. And it's kind of told through the eyes of Atticus's children, Scout and Jem, and their friend Till. So that's really what it's about. And what drew me to the role, I suppose, it's quite a difficult question to answer because it's a very important book in my life and to me, and this role is very important to me. So I suppose it's something that has always been in my life since I read the book as a teenager, and in a way, it's one of those opportunities in a role that I didn't ever consider that I would play. But it's been one of the great privileges of my life to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing to hear you say that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it means a great deal to me. It's very important to me personally, and that's so it kind of makes it a joy to do professionally. Is that I'm, it speaks to me in such a deep way. So I hope it speaks through me to other people.
Well, I have to say, having seen it first in New York and then here in London, I would rank it as one of the top 5 things I've ever seen. I think the power of it is extraordinary and its relevance is amazing.
Yes, I completely agree. And perhaps, sadly, it's maybe more relevant now than it seems to have ever been for a number of reasons, I think. Not just the racial aspect, but I think it has powerful resonances in lots of ways right now in the world.
I mean, it does show how deeply ingrained prejudices can be, but it also highlights the importance of empathy and understanding and the moral courage required to stand up against it. It's got such power, hasn't it?
Yes, it does, and I think that's really important. Those things that you just said, what I was sort of alluding to, the reason I think it's so particularly prescient and particularly important that this story is presented right now is because I think we're in a really strange and perilous place right now in the world, where we are, I think, really, empathy is something that we have to really work at now. And I think that's the nature of the things, the way that the world is. I think we do need to have courage to be empathetic and to make, to just stand by our morals. And I think it's very, very hard for people at the moment. So I think it's a very timely message about courage.
Yeah, yeah. The unwavering commitment that Atticus Finch has to justice and fairness, despite the societal pressures that are against him, does demonstrate his moral integrity against the odds. I mean, and the strength of character needed.
I agree.
And
Yes, that's very
you
true.
portray it so well.
Well, I think it's like I said. it means a lot to me, but also this part of it speaks to me about moral integrity, fairness, standing up for what you believe in. These are things that are really important to me, and I feel very passionately about this, and about also, I think, which is another aspect. Um, I'm presenting a positive male role model right now is really important, and it's important to me as a father, as you know, and as a citizen and as a human being and as a man. I think it's really important to go look. It's we have to be. We're not all toxic, and it's a very very important thing to sort of to want to represent in that way. To be like, hang on, I'm a good man, and it's important to be good. But it's okay if you're flawed, and I think that's one of the messages of the play. It's okay to be flawed as well.
Yes, exactly. I mean, in the journey of Scout, the daughter, her brother, Jem, and their friend Dill, they're navigating the complexities of this world that's around them. And would you say it's their coming of age, what their discovery is in the play?
I think it is. Yes, I think it is their coming of age. But I think over and above that, which is that I think the play is about how do we teach children.
Yes.
That is one of the important. Matt Atticus has his kids. He's holding them and he's guiding them through this very confusing and disturbing summer that they're living through. And he's trying to hold them and he's trying to teach them. And I think what they learn is, yes, it's a form of coming of age, but I think it's about the power of standing by your instincts and by your morals.
For me, it's about exposing them to making them able to see the world from other people's perspective, which when you live in a small town like that is pretty hard to do, isn't it? Treating everyone the same when you're told these people are bad, these people are good, and it's all very binary.
Yes, I agree, and I think certainly. I think Atticus, as a father, has been very careful. Of course, he's a widower. He's lost the love of his life, and I think that's a really important element of the story that is I think is very present. I think one of the lines that Calpurnia says to Scout later on says it very well. She says, "I love what I see when I look at you, Scout," and I think that is because she is incredibly empathetic. And I think that is one of the things that we see through the course of the play, that they learn the power of empathy and how important it is.
Yeah, I mean, the power of the play, it is so poignant and so emotional. But there are just in case anyone thinks, well, I'm not sure I'm going to go and see this. As personally as a lover of musicals, it was not going to be up in my top 5. I didn't think, but it is because it's so extraordinary. But it's also very funny at parts as well.
Listen, it's an Aaron Sorkin version. It's an Aaron Sorkin adaptation, which means you get everything that you get with Aaron Sorkin. It's incredibly punchy and dynamic. It moves along at a hell of a lick, and he really makes you laugh. It's a very funny play, and I think that's the thing. The most of the audience responses that I get when people talk to me is they weren't expecting how funny it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's it really engages you completely emotionally. So yes, I would say to somebody, don't be, don't go on a preconception, or don't avoid it because of a preconception you might have. Oh, it's a heavy book. Come and see it. It's an incredibly human experience and a very powerful emotional experience, and hopefully incredibly thought provoking. If somebody comes out of the theatre and is thinking, think slightly differently about something that's happening in the world, an injustice that's happening in the world, then we've done an amazing job.
Yeah. And he, I mean, for those that don't know, Aaron Sorkin, he wrote The West Wing, and he's no
Yeah.
slouch when it comes to successes.
No, he's fantastic. He's fantastic, and he has a way with. He's a dramaturg. I think he understands. I mean, he's a playwright first and foremost, and he understands theatre. He understands human emotions. He knows how to. He knows what hits. He knows how to hit you in the guts.
Yeah. The relevancy of it for today as well. That's what's weaved into it, very, very much so. That the play continues to, it makes you think about things and sparks conversations about race and justice, and the human capacity for both cruelty and compassion is what I really believe is the power of it.
Yeah, completely. He wrote it during Trump Mark One, and it was a kind of a response, I think, to what was happening in America. And he used a lot of sort of clickbait from Breitbart and other right-wing websites to fill out the dialogue for characters like Bob Ewell, who is kind of the father of the girl who is accusing Tom Robinson, and he's a nasty piece of work.
Yeah.
So he's managed to embody, I think, throughout. He's populated the play, the book anyway, but he's managed to update it and populate it with characters that feel very relatable now.
Yes.
In America and here,
And
no
here
question.
too. Yeah, for sure. And the other sort of main player is the director Bartlett Sher, who
Yeah,
ran Lincoln Center, and he's headed Acclaim Productions like My Fair Lady, The King and I, and South
that's right.
Pacific. Was he good to work with?
Bart's wonderful. I mean, absolutely wonderful. And Bart Sher and Aaron Sorkin created this production together, and it was staged in 2018 in New York. So by the time I jumped on, when it came to the West End, I felt very much in safe hands with Bart, and he is very good at recognizing the things that need to be lifted and the things that can, sink a little, as it were. I suppose that comes from his musical and his opera background. He knows what he's doing, and he knows what he wants and how to get it from each actor. He's very good at that. Yeah, so it's been a joy working with Bart and creating it and creating my Atticus, as distinct to the other Atticuses that there have been.
Can I ask about your accent? Do you find that easy to create? Because it's a southern accent, which I love. And there's when I was looking on YouTube at various things about the show, and there's a bit where you say, because I wrote it down, the words "sin to kill a mockingbird." Now, forgive me, that's nowhere near where it should be, but you said that so well, and I thought you could be from the deep south.
Well, yeah, I don't find it difficult. I think I have a good ear and I'm a good mimic, and I sort of pick up accents quite quickly. I've been out there. I've spent time there. I've, done a lot of work and research. So yeah, I suppose I don't find it that difficult. And now, of course, I've did it in the West End, and I've done some time on the tour. So I suppose it sort of feels fairly second nature, which is quite nice. I don't have to think
You
about
should
it.
worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just worrying about, the performance as opposed to how does my voice sound, which is often can get in the way. I don't like it when that's in the way when I'm working. It's good to just not be thinking about that.
Indeed. And talking about being West End and tour, audience reactions, were the did you get surprises in terms of audience reaction between the West End and on tour, or were they similar?
I think it depends.
Did you ever get surprised? That's what I suppose what I'm going to ask.
Yeah, I suppose I did. I've been surprised. There have been a couple of places where people have booed or heckled, and that's always a surprise because you're not expecting it, even though it's a sensitive subject matter. You don't really expect audience participation. So that's been a bit of a surprise. I think I was surprised by how the responses we had in certain places, which were so amazing on the tour, particularly. There were 2 or 3 cities we went to where it just felt like the buzz and the desire for it was so like powerful. The audience was so up for it and like theatre literate in a way that was so refreshing. It means you don't have to work as hard in a way. And some places where you go, yeah, the audience is a bit, they're sort of sitting back and going, okay, come on, entertain us. And there are other places where you definitely feel like they're leaning forwards and they're really in it right from the top. And you really sense the difference. And I think the thing about it is, in an auditorium, just in the way that the audience can hopefully hear everything that's happening on the stage, we can also hear literally everything that happens in the auditorium. So, people coming in late and talking, it's very loud on stage. Coughing is very loud. Crisp packets, cans opening, and all of that it's cacophonous on the stage. It's a resonating chamber of theatre. So I think, it's a very live relationship between the stage and the performers and the audience. And it's like a conversation. So you're always very alive to it. And I think so the places that surprise me are the ones where that side of the conversation has been really present, full of energy in the right way. And, and then you get the response at the end that is sort of commensurate with it.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a fascinating thing going from place to, I've never done a tour before. So going from place to place and feeling that quality of that sort of conversation, that dialogue, it's really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And was there anywhere that you thought, oh God, this has not gone well?
Yeah, there were a couple of places that I was like, I'm not sure why there's a theatre here. I mean, there should be a theatre everywhere in every single town and city. But there are some places where you go, why are they bothering, or are they not programming this right?
There's something not quite right.
Something's not working here, is it? Come on.
And you're obviously you're on stage a lot, and that must take its toll. Do you have any kind of tips that you can share on how you get through it during a run? Do you have to be a hermit and you go home and don't speak, or do you just go for it and it always happens?
I mean, I spend time a long time beforehand and a fair amount of time afterwards. Before I go on, it takes a long time to get into it, and afterwards a little bit to take it off, as it were. But it's a joy to do it, and I think because, as I said, it means a great deal to me. So it's not hard work. It's kind of a joy.
Yeah.
So I don't, it's not onerous in any way. I mean, it's not easy, but I'm not working in a coal mine.
No,
so,
sure.
I'm doing something that's important, and it feels important, but it's a privilege to do it. And I feel very, very lucky that I get to play this character right now. So yeah, I think it's balances out anything that might be uncomfortable or difficult about the work itself.
I watched your YouTube Atticus journey, and it's fantastic. And I would highly recommend anyone to watch it, but particularly actors, as you really do share the journey. I mean, was that hard? Was that hard to do, or did you just go for it?
Well, I was very frightened during that period. It was frightening for me taking on this. I put myself under an enormous amount of pressure to play Atticus. It meant so much to me that I think I just really gave myself such a hard time, and the rigor that I put myself through. And I think that's probably what I remember about doing the video diary and the and being filmed by the crew, the making of crew. And yeah, I don't know, I haven't seen it, but that's what I remember. Is I just remember that I was kind of frightened, and I think I had to just get through it for the first few shows.
Well, I mean, I think you say that, and that to me, it's got such a beautiful honesty. It's not a thing you see very often nowadays. Everything's so kind of tidied up and AI
Yeah.
and sorted out.
Well, I mean, it's like, yeah, it was a very odd time, and the Queen died on my opening night.
Oh gosh, right.
It was my opening night in the West End, and the Queen passed away, and so it had a very strange. The whole thing had this weird pallor to it,
Yeah, yeah.
and we had 2 minutes silence.
That's
And
right. I remember.
the producers said to the audience, if anybody would like to leave because of what's happened, we will refund whatever. And I think some people did leave, and obviously all of our celebrations and our opening night a bash was cancelled, and it suddenly didn't feel very jubilant or celebratory. And in a way, I think that actually did me a favor, because it took away a little bit of the pomp and the nerves for me. It suddenly just felt like a different occasion, and probably quite grateful to that. Well, not grateful, that sounds awful. I mean, it saved me in a way, that because I was so frightened.
Yeah.
It distracted. There was something else happening that felt much more important and epochal than my opening night as Atticus.
But that's what I think is so great about it, is that we as the audience didn't see that, but you were sharing your honesty was so powerful, and that that was the reality for you, because we as audience, we sit there and watch it and go, oh, that was nice. and actually, to be fair, I don't think we should have to go through the journey with all the actors to know why they got to where they're going. It should be about us consuming the piece.
Of course.
But
yes.
it's as I say, it's on YouTube, and I think I would recommend it to anyone to watch, because it's really, particularly an actor, pretend you're there doing real stuff. It's really quite amazing, I think. And you did last year. You did 24. Sorry, you did Player King with Ian McKellen just across the way in the No Cower.
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah,
this is you back in the West End again.
That was, I really enjoyed that. That was wonderful. Lovely theatre too. And just sadly, Ian fell off the stage.
Yeah.
And had his injury at the end of it, so it didn't end in the way that we wanted to. But it was an incredible experience, and I had a wonderful time working with Ian. And what a total dude. He is,
I'm sure he'd be thrilled to hear that, actually. He's a total dude.
Is a total dude. And he is the real deal.
Yeah.
He is the real deal. He has so much love for everybody and for theatre. And he's tireless. And I just hats off to him, because he's tireless. He just... his time is full, and he's engaged with so many projects and organizations, and I just think he's a wonderful human.
When it was his 80th birthday, did that tour around all the venues in the UK and gave them the proceeds of the event. And
I mean, it's brilliant, and really passionate about community theatre as well, and he's involved with this new community theatre that's happening, and it's just brilliant. He really matters a great deal to him, and it's infectious. And he's just makes me proud to be British.
And at that, at that sort of in his 80s, it's not like he's a 25-year-old to be touring the country and doing all of that. And his energy is legendary. I mean, it's extraordinary.
Yeah, he is brilliant. He's wonderful. And he's a brilliant company leader, as you'd imagine.
We're coming towards the end, Richard. You'll be glad to hear, I'm sure.
No, it's been fun. Well, I'm enjoying this, actually.
You once said, I am an actor and I want to be an actor when I'm 60. It's a lifelong process. Why cut it off by boxing yourself into a little pigeonhole early on? Do you feel you've achieved that? I mean, you did say it a while ago.
I said that after I left Coppola.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to get into the actual detail, but there we are. Yes.
Well, yeah, but that was what happened. That's when I said.
But that, but do you feel, thinking back on it? I mean, it seems. I mean, the stuff you've done is, I think, it's extraordinary. The people you work with: John Madden, Mike Newell, Gwyneth Paltrow, Johnny Depp. I could go on. Aberforth Dumbledore in Fantastic Beasts. I mean, you've had such a range of things. And it sounded to me like that's what you wanted to do. You wanted to not be, as you say, pigeonholed. And I think you've definitely achieved that in terms of the spread that you've done.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I wanted to be a working actor.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. I didn't want to be a TV star. I didn't want to be a film star or a theatre star. I wanted to be a working actor. I wanted to be across as much of it as I could be. And I think, I'm doing that. I hope. It's, I hope I haven't managed to become pigeonholed or typecast. I've avoided that at least. And, it has its blessings and its curses, but, I'm a working actor and I love it. I love my life dearly and I love my work, and the opportunity to work with people and, work abroad in different places, which I've done a lot of, is, it just makes a very rich tapestry. My life feels very rich and,
come on, there must be times at the airport when your luggage has gone somewhere else. It can't all be perfect.
The only time I can actually remember my luggage going somewhere else was I was filming in Puerto Rico on a thing for NBC, and I flew up to New York. One of my friends was on stage on Broadway, and he said, come up for the weekend, crash with me at the apartment and, see the show. So I got on a plane in my Bermuda shorts and T-shirt and flip-flops.
Oh, no.
In 95, 96 degree heat in San Juan in Puerto Rico, and I put the plane, and I got off at JFK in a blizzard. It was December. And I could see the snow outside, and my suitcase hadn't arrived on the plane.
No.
And I was due in Manhattan, and I said, where's my suitcase, please? They said, it's coming in tomorrow morning. I said, well, that's no use to me. They said, we'll give you a ride on us.
Oh, great.
And they put me
in your flip-flops.
Yeah, and I was in, it was Baltic in New York, and I was in my shorts and my T-shirt and flip-flops.
Oh,
and
dear.
I didn't get into Manhattan until about 1 o'clock in the morning. I missed the show. They dropped me off 5th in line in a town car with 5 other people or 4 other people, and I ended up being the last drop-off in Manhattan. So I missed the show. I sort of missed everything. My friend was annoyed. I had to get up and basically fly back the next day in my shorts, and it was a complete disaster. That's the only time that's happened.
Wow. Well, let's hope it is the only time, because that's spectacularly bad.
It was bad. It was bad. Yeah, I was freezing cold. And but apart from that, no, sometimes you just want to go home for a bit.
Yeah.
If you're away a lot.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you for sharing that. That was very funny, I have to say. Wow. Would you say that working on Mockingbird, just to bring us to a close, Mockingbird has affected the way you think about like justice and stuff now, beyond the theatre?
Well, I certainly think it has reinforced my own beliefs in about justice and about the way justice should work, justice system, inequality, my role, I guess, as a man and my role as a father. All these things, I feel it has enforced that, and in a way, validated the way that I feel, and that's been a very pleasing for me personally development, and that I've sort of gone, yeah, I feel validated in feeling this way, and the way that I've felt for a long time about certain things. I do feel like it aligns with my own feelings. That's, I suppose, what I would say.
Yeah, no, that's pretty powerful stuff. My thanks to Richard Coyle for sharing his thoughts on the play with us. And you can see Richard as Atticus Finch at Wyndham's Theatre in To Kill a Mockingbird, June 25 till September 12. That's quite American, isn't it? And tickets for the play are available from our website. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
That was fun.